Hello everyone, welcome to the channel Oil and Gas Learning. You wonder why oil demand isn't collapsing yet, and what does it means. Despite the rise of renewables and electrical vehicles, the world still is dependent on oil. In 2025, the global oil use around 105 million barrels per day, uh, showing it's still a key part of transport, industries, and everyday's life. Experts also say that demand will likely stay steady through 2030s, thanks to industries like transports, aviation, plastic that still rely heavily on oil. At the same time, tensions in Middle East, uh, decisions by the OPEC countries, and affected oil and prices keep the markets from collapsing. But the global growth worries, especially China's slowdown, US trade tariffs making oil demand more slowly. Overall, oil demand isn't falling fast, but it's not growing fast either. The political tensions, low clean energy progresses will keep prices unstable. Going ahead, there are some reports of Economic Times shows that the current demand is still growing of oil and gas. The oil terms global oil demand for next 4 years. The OPEC producers, OPEC are the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, producers group comprising the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, whose allies including Russia is pumping more barrels to regain the market share after years of cuts to support the market. Lower medium terms demands could make it harder for the group to unwind its other cuts, which remain placed until 2026, end of 2026. Expects the demand grow average 106.3 million barrels per day in 2026 and then climb to 111.6 million barrel per day in 2029. So this is the report are shared by the Economic Times in November of 2025. Going ahead, the OPEC gives its forecast that demand in 2030 will average 113.3 barrels per day, that unchanged from last year. By contrast, the International Energy Agency expects, expects global demand to peak 105.6 million barrels per day in 2029 and then fall slightly in 2030. The advisor to industrialists Contest said that last month. For the longer term, the OPEC expect India, the Middle East, and Africa drive growth. Developments such as the US exit from the United Nations Climate Pact, slower EV penetration rate in Europe will probably have spillover effect into developing countries, which need more energy. Uh, so OPEC expects the world oil demand to reach 122.9 million barrels per day in 2050, up to 120.1 million barrels per day expects in last year report. That's far above other 2050 forecasts from the industry such as that of BP. OPEC has been calling for more industry investment and said the sector needs $18.2 trillion to spend to 2050 compared with 17.4 trillion dollar need as estimate last year. Going ahead, again there is one report shared by the Economics Times that OPEC sees India's oil demand rising 3.4% in 2025, double the pace of China, double the pace of China. So what the report said that India's oil demand expect to grow as the fastest pace among the major economies, double rate of rise of China in 2025 and 26. The oil carter OPEC said in last global outlook, India's oil demand is projected to rise from 5.55 million barrels per day in 2024 to 5.74 million barrels per day in 2025, up to which is up to 3.39%, held by rising energy needs in the world's fastest growing economy. This is the projected further rise to 5.99 million barrels per day in 2026, growing at 4.2%. The Indian demand growth is higher than 1.5% expansion project in China's oil demand in 2025 and 1.25% in 2026. So the demand of oil in India is slightly higher than the China. So going ahead, here are some emerging regions where I found more detailed numbers for India. Here are the trends for other regions also. The first, starting from the Africa, that higher population growth, urbanization, rising transport and power plant full demand. And after South Asia, countries such as Indonesia, Vietnam, and Philippines are in the industrialization and infrastructure build out phase, which supports increased oil demand, diesel like gasoline refinery feedstock. And Middle East domestic consumption growth as a Gulf Middle East countries shift to more local industrialization, transport, refining, petrochemical, domestic oil consumption has a growth component, even though many of them are major exports. And China also the large of in absolute volume growth is slowing, but that the focus is shifting more toward petrochemicals and less on the pure transport fuel growth. So here are the some regions that also demanding the oil and going ahead to summarize the topic, the oil and gas industry is shrinking, is being re-engineered, global demand is still strong, new markets are emerging, and the geopolitical dynamics are forcing industry to players to adapt it. In the last, I have one question, the MCQ type questions for all of you that which region is expected to drive the most of the oil demand growth in the next decade. So here are the some answer of it, some of the options of it. One of the answer is you have to comment that the answer in the comment section of the video. And the options are North America, Europe, India, and South Asia, and the Latin America. So these are our from side. If anything you want to share, please put in comment section. And thanks for watching this video. Please share and subscribe and like it. Thank you very much.